So I guess the U.S. is at war with Iran and Syria as militias from there are trying to attack Israel. So United States is helping Israel, helping Ukraine, helping everybody but the Palestinian people.
Well, turning now to new developments in the Middle East. The U.S. launched airstrikes in Syria overnight, hitting two targets linked to Iranian-backed militias. According to U.S. officials, a pair of F-16 fighter jets hit key facilities storing weapons near the city of Abu Kamal in eastern Syria. The move follows a series of recent attacks against U.S. forces in the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin released a statement last night calling the assaults unacceptable after 21 American soldiers were injured. The Pentagon has also responded by sending around 900 more troops to the Middle East to bolster air defenses. The U.S. already has around 900 troops in Syria and 2,500 in Iraq. Israel's military says its defense forces, backed by fighter jets and drones, carried out another raid in Gaza. The IDF claims the latest assault targeted the central Gaza Strip. It includes strikes on anti-missile launch sites, military command centers, and other Hamas targets. The war between Israel and Hamas continues to stoke fears of wider conflict within the region. In Egypt today, 6 people were reportedly injured after a drone crashed near a hospital. The origins of the drone have not yet been confirmed. The crash happened near the Egypt-Israel border. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis increases by the hour. This morning, Palestinian border officials say a medical team and 10 aid trucks entered Gaza through Egypt at the Rafah crossing. Even with this latest delivery of food, water, and medicine, though, the UN says basic services in the territory are crumbling. There is
Yeah, when you have an occupying force just leveling, entire city blocks and buildings and stuff, how are they, you know, how are any services supposed to stay on? I mean, everything is getting destroyed, and it's not like every single building being blown up has a Hamas terrorist living inside it.
still no deal to allow fuel transports. The Associated Press reports an average of 500 daily aid trucks used to enter Gaza prior to the October 7th attack. Since then, only 84 have crossed. Our Ian Lee has more on the situation in Gaza and U.S. strikes in Syria.
Good morning, Lana. These airstrikes just underscored the escalation of tensions in the region. The attack took place in an area called Abu Kamal in Syria near the Iraq border. Now, this is in retaliation for attacks on U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria. The Pentagon says that these strikes are separate to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas, but the two are linked. Iran's proxies have stepped up attacks in the region and on Israel since the conflict with Gaza began. There's fears it could escalate as the ground invasion looms overnight. Israel continued to carry out raids into Gaza. Troops and tanks supported by fighter jets and drones hit targets on the outskirts of Gaza City. The IDF spokesman said this is to clear explosives and traps in order to prepare the battlefield for the invasion. And this morning, Israel said it killed a Hamas official partially responsible for planning the deadly October 7th attack. Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza grows more desperate. The World Food Programme's executive director, Cindy McCain, said people are starving to death while bureaucracy holds up desperately needed aid in Egypt. Just 12 trucks made it in yesterday. The UN says its operation.
Why is it the citizens are forced to suffer at the hands of the Israeli government because of Hamas, when Hamas is just a small fraction of people living in Palestine? Collective punishment is a war crime, and the Israeli government should be investigated over it.
Operations are being paralyzed by the lack of fuel, and the remaining reserves are being used, but hospitals there warn that they will soon have to shut down without any fuel.